And we're here. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our workshop Wednesday presentation. We're going to keep it pretty simple today. We are just going to present you with tools that the library has to help you be successful. My name is Esmeralda Rogers. I am the Nursing, Health Sciences, and Pharmacy Liaison. Basically, I'm doing the introduction, and our librarian, Sarah Norrell, who does business, accounting, HR, lots of things, will take over from there. So as I said, we'll keep it pretty simple. We're going to start with a video tour of the library spaces that was created by our very own Robin Purdue. She did an amazing job, and we're very excited about this video. And after that, Sarah will come in and do the overview of digital resources for us. Let me escape to our video. Make sure you share the screen again. Share. Media player. We're getting there, I promise. Where's my button? Control box is in the way. There we go.
Welcome to the Robert R. Muntz Library with the University of Texas at Tyler. The current library building was opened for use in January 1981 and was officially dedicated as the Robert R. Muntz Library in 1982. In this video tour of the library, we'll be going floor by floor and explaining what the library has to offer. Located just outside the library are the beautiful Muntz Library Gardens. Dedicated in 2010, they are named after Mrs. Maureen Muntz, Mr. Robert R. Muntz's widow. Located right next to the Muntz Library Gardens is our outdoor seating area. Outside the library is our library book drop. Our book drop is checked daily. On the first floor of the library, there are tables for quiet study, as well as our drink and snack machines. There's also a really cool map that shows what the university might have looked like. There might be one building that looks familiar. Can you see it? In Library 107 are the university archives and special collections. This unit within the library contains documents and collections relevant to the history of the university in East Texas. Special collections at the UASC include manuscript collections, rare books, maps, paintings, and other materials that represent the history of the surrounding community. Various collections from the university archives can be viewed in their second floor library display case. As you walk into the library, to your right, you will see the library living room. There are a number of spaces available here for student study. Located in the library living room are our bestsellers collection. Looking for a good popular read? Stop by here. Our main library stacks are located on the second floor, just behind the library living room seating area. Our library reference area hosts a number of materials that can help with your studies. Behind the reference section is our microfilm reader. Looking for research help or just have a question in general? Stop by the library help desk. Whether it be a question on how to check out a book or print, we're here to help. The library does have a set number of course reserves. These are textbooks that professors have placed on reserve for their students. We don't have all the textbooks, but please feel free to stop by and check it out. We also have a number of textbooks available for viewing online. Please visit our website for more details. Right next to the help desk is our Ready Reference section. We have a number of citation manuals available here. In addition to the course reserves, we have a number of pharmacy textbooks available for checkout. If you have any questions and want to access these, please visit the help desk. In addition to the pharmacy reserves, we do have nursing model kits available for checkout. The library also houses a media collection. We have a number of CDs and DVDs available for checkout. For more information, please visit the help desk. Looking for a book that we don't have access to? No worries. We can order those through Iliad, our free interlibrary loan service. To do so, please visit the website ill.utcolor.edu. We always search for free lenders first, but if we can't locate a free lender, we will let you know the lowest cost lender we can find. We are able to order books and articles via Iliad. Across from the library help desk are our student computers. Students can log into these using their Patriots username and password. Behind the computers are our two black and white printers. You will need your student ID card, both physical or digital, to release the print jobs here. Right across from the library help desk is our color printer. The process is the very same as the black and white printers. The library also has two public access computers. Located next to the public access computers is our ADA accessible computer. Here at the public access computers is our library kick scanner. With this scanner, you are able to scan your documents and send it to your email or save it to thumb drive as a PDF. There's also a similar scanner located on the third floor. We have two practice presentation rooms, room 202 and room 210C. Those can be reserved online and checked out at the library help desk. Located around the corner from the library student computers and practice presentation room 210C is the curriculum materials lab, also known as the CML room. CML room houses a multitude of books ranging from preschool picture books all the way up into young adult fiction. This room is a haven for students looking for a more secluded place to study. In addition, many of these books are used in our education and reading courses. The room also houses beautiful artwork and a Hello Kitty book section. As you walk through the library, you may notice beautiful pieces of artwork. The library recently added new paintings and other art pieces to the building. They reside on both the second and third floors. Looking for a great place to study? Please visit our third floor. We have two unique study areas, including a newly renovated study space. There are a number of individual and group study rooms on the third floor. These can be reserved online by scanning the QR code on the doors. There is also a testing room that can be reserved online and the fee is checked out at the help desk. As we leave the elevators on the fourth floor of the library, take a right and head all the way down the hallway to the left. We are greeted with room 422, which is the library computer lab. In this room, many library workshops are held, as well as classes. Students can also use this room for quiet study and for taking online prompted tests. There are 32 computers available. This concludes our video tour of the library. Thank you so much for choosing Robert R. Muntz Library for your research needs. We are also located on the web at uttyler.edu/library. Thanks for watching.
Music though. Okay, go ahead.
Excuse us, everybody, a little bit of changing of the guard.
Gotta swap out. There we go.
Excuse me. Hello. Hello, everybody. Let's see. Hey, for those who may not know me, my name is Sarah Norrell. I am the business librarian. So like Ezzie was mentioning, I serve pretty much everybody in the College of Business with the exception of the technology department and computer science. We have a STEM librarian for that. So you may have seen me in previous workshops and things like that. Today, I'm going to, first of all, share my screen. And then I'm going to show you, we're going to walk through the library's website with a focus on the web resources that we have available. All right, so I always tell people there's two different ways to kind of go about accessing the library's website. There's more than that, but really it's all about what is more comfortable or easy for you to remember. Some people really appreciate being able to go directly to the URL. So that's simply uttyler.edu/library, and that gets you there. The other thing that you can do is if you just start at the UT Tyler website, or like if you Google UT Tyler and you click on our main website there, you know, this is the homepage, right, of the university with the videos in the background. What you can do is go over to the top left, the stacked bar menu icon, click on that. And then when you click on that, the menu that comes over the page, you want to navigate down, and you can navigate to students or faculty and staff, whichever one is appropriate to you. I'm just going to click students. And then you're going to see yet another menu, and it's got different tiles here or buttons that you can select. You want to use the one that's on the top row, and it's the third from the left, and it'll say Library Home. So again, gets us to the same place. All roads lead to Rome. You can also just Google UT Tyler Library or Muntz Library. Like I said, there's like a million ways to get there. So the important thing is, though, that you start on the library's website. So now that we're here, I'm just going to pretty much walk us through the site, what we see, hit all of the really big important things, and then possibly give you like some little tips and tricks to some services or tools that you may not be aware of. So first and foremost, as we scroll down, we call this our banner area right here up top. You'll see the title of our website here, Robert R. Muntz Library, Research Made Easy. And that is always our goal, is to make your research process as easy as possible. So right now we have kind of two announcements here in our banner area. One is the free e-textbooks that we offer. That is a huge deal, especially to our incoming or first year students. But even our graduate students, right? We have tons of different e-textbooks, and we're gonna follow up on that and talk a little bit more in just a minute. The next banner item or announcement we have here is about the different library websites. So if you attend, if your program, your degree, your department is with the, I guess, main UT Tyler campus, right, like the academic campus, then Robert R. Muntz Library is where you want to be. We do have some students, though, especially our new class of medical students, that will actually be using the Watson Wise Medical Library, which is housed on the North Campus. And you can access that website with this link right here. So if we scroll down just a little bit more, this is what I call our swoop search area. You can see it's kind of a pale gray box, so it really kind of stands out from the rest of the website. You'll see that it says swoop search across the top, and then below that it says search for books, articles, media, and more. So that's a really good way to kind of segue into, you know, what is swoop search? Swoop search, and you can use it by this main search box here. We kind of jokingly call it or refer to it as the Google of the library. In library terms, it's a discovery layer, but I don't expect anybody to remember that, right? But that is kind of useful information to know because it does help you understand what it's for. It helps you to discover the resources that the library has. And so that means that it searches about 95 to 97% of everything that the library has access to. So that means all of the books in our collection, all of the ebooks that we own, databases. There's a good probably say 90 to 95% of the databases that are searchable within Swoop Search. Some of them, the companies, their tech doesn't play well with other tech, so that's a little bit of an issue. That's why I say 90 to 95%. And then, of course, there's all of the rest of the materials that we have, such as newspapers, microfilm. I mean, our catalog is in here. So for those of you who, started using libraries when you had to go to, say, the card catalog, or you're used to searching like a catalog online, you can do all of that here in Swoop Search. It's kind of a one-stop shop, if you will. So with it being kind of a one-stop, or like the Google of the library, there are pros and cons to using Swoop Search. Pros being you can search a lot of different areas at one time, right? And so that is especially nice whenever you are trying to just get started on a research topic. Say you want to focus on leadership styles in government leadership, or something like that. If you have no idea about any of that, Swoop Search is a really great place just to get started, because it kind of gives you a nice snapshot or quick view, whether or not there's a lot of material out there, what types of materials you're getting, publication dates, different things like that. The other thing that Swoop Search is really good for is if you have a specific title or material in mind that you need to know if we have access to it, right? So let's say for fun, over the holidays, you've decided you're going to read Moby Dick by Herman Melville, and you really want to see if we've got like a print copy of the book because you really enjoy reading print books. Swoop Search is a great place to do that, or to search for that, because it'll tell you right away, right? It searches our catalog, whether or not we have it. Now, I said there are pros and cons to using Swoop Search. The con is Swoop Search is huge, right? If you think about like Google and just how many different pages of results you get, right? Like the G-O-O-O-O-O, and it just goes on and on and on. That's kind of how Swoop Search can be. So it can be overwhelming, and it could give you back way too many resources, right? Now that it's kind of like too much of a good thing. And so I don't recommend, if you're researching a topic, I don't recommend spending a lot of time in Swoop Search. I don't recommend spending all of your time in research, not in research, in Swoop Search. And so that's because you want to do targeted searching. Swoop Search is great for kind of practicing your search strategy, figuring out key terms that work, date ranges that work, publications, and things like that. I would not spend all of your time on a topic in Swoop Search. And if you need any assistance with that, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Ezzie or anybody here at the library, and we're more than happy to work with you one-on-one. Now, if you are going to be spending time in Swoop Search, personally, I recommend using Advanced Search here. So Advanced Search is Swoop Search. However, it gives you more control over your searching, which in turn saves you a lot of time. And I'm all about saving people time. So what we see here is automatically in Advanced Search, we have two different search boxes. We can add as many search boxes as we want. Just keep in mind, the more search terms you add in a search, the smaller your field of results is going to be, which could be very good, but also you can kind of get so specific that you don't really have anything to work with. So just be mindful of that. The other thing about Advanced Search is that you have different options for these search terms. You can designate the field in which Swoop Search searches for your search term. So if you have, like I said, leadership styles, and you wanted to list it as a subject rather than potentially a title or an author, things like that, you don't have to change these at all. You can leave it as any field. Any field is the broadest search that you can possibly do. So like I said, when you're using Swoop Search and you want that broad sense of what is out there on your topic, leaving it as any field is a very good option. And then the next option that you have is contains. And so that is, let's say if we changed this to title is exact, and then I entered Moby Dick. Right, that makes sense because we're telling Swoop Search we're looking for the book exactly titled Moby Dick. You can also change this to, starts with or contains. Really, it's as flexible as you need it to be. And then when you're building your search string, you have what are called the Boolean operators, Boolean, Boolean. So Boolean operators are basically, when I think about them, I kind of think about them in terms of a math equation. They're like the plus, minus, divide, and all that kind of stuff. Another way to think of them is through a Venn diagram. So if you have two search terms, such as leadership styles and we'll just say government, right? We won't even say government leadership. So if we did and we put leadership styles here, okay, and then we'll say federal government, a little bit more specific. So if we do that, and then we leave this as and, basically we're telling Swoop Search, right, in terms of the Venn diagram, we have our two circles that overlap. We only want the results that come back in that little middle section where the two circles overlap, right? Because we want those results that have to do with both leadership styles and the federal government. Now, if I changed it to or, this is actually going to be a much bigger search. This is going to include all of the section of the leadership style circle and all of the section of the federal government circle without that middle section where they overlap. So we've gone from a rather small middle section to two very large outer sections. And then if we use not, so let's say we're interested in leadership styles, but we're not looking for leadership styles within federal government. That's when not is going to be really, really helpful. This is often something that, I don't personally start with not. It's after I've done a little bit of searching and I keep seeing the wrong subject or term or dates or whatever, if I keep seeing something come up and I really need to get it out of those results, I return to my search and I add that not there. So a little bit of trial and error in searching. It's always a process. Don't give up on it. It takes a little bit of patience. You also have drop-down menus over here that you can change, but you don't have to, right? So if we know for a fact that we want to look for books on leadership styles in federal government, we can do that. If you want to make sure that your resource is in English, or maybe you're looking for something in a different language, you can always select that here. And then publication date. So it gives you some options here up to the last 20 years, or you can provide a specific date. Just a word of advice, if you don't know anything about a topic and you're just getting started, don't bother messing with a lot of this stuff, right? Because you want to cast as wide a net as possible in your searching and then filter out from there. So you don't want to miss something good by over filtering the search results. Any questions about advanced search so far? Counting to 10 to make sure everybody has time to ask the questions, have a tendency to rush through. Okay, I'm going to go on. We're not going to do any example searching in Swoop Search for today's workshop, but if that is something that you're interested in, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We can really set something up where it's more one-on-one or hands-on, and then we'll get you those tailored results that you need. Okay, so I've clicked back to the library's homepage, the uttyler.edu/library. The next thing that I want to draw your attention to, we have a row of 3 very important links here underneath the advanced search link. So we have databases by title, journals by title, and then research guides by subject. Now I'm going to do a brief overview of each one of them. So databases by title, if we click on that, this just takes you to one very large alphabetical list of all of the databases that the library subscribes to. Currently, we have 303 databases in this list. That's a lot of databases. That's a lot of names. I don't expect anybody to remember, all 12 databases that you're going to use the entire time you're here at UT Tyler, or anything like that. If you do know the name of your database that you're looking for, feel free to use this linked alphabet right across the top here. So let's say I went to S and I knew I was looking for Sage Journals here. It's right there at the top. Now, if I don't know what database I'm looking for, you can also use this All Subjects drop-down menu just above the alphabet. And this is really nice because it still gives you lists of databases, but they're more targeted. And so I'm going to use one that's not huge. So we'll do biology, sorry. Biology, here are our biology databases. Now, a couple of things about this page. Again, it's an alphabetized list of the databases. So if you don't see one that you think, should be in the list, just remember to keep scrolling. It's probably there. You just haven't made it that far down the page yet. The other thing to take note of is there is this nice, like, pale yellow-ish box here called the best bets. And so it's pretty self-explanatory. Those databases are your best bets when it comes to searching your topic or the field of biology or, anything like that. Now, this list is curated by the biology librarian. So that is actually our STEM librarian, as I was referring to earlier. She is in the room with me here. Her name is Christine Duncan. Her information is right over here. You can see a picture of her. As well as her contact information. Every single one of these databases by subject lists includes the associated librarian's profile. So you can easily contact them directly and just say, hey, I need help searching in Science Direct, or something like that. And past that, you can always just click on any of these databases. They are all linked and they'll take you right into that database. If you do so and you are on or off campus, if you have any issues accessing any of those databases, then please don't hesitate to reach out to us. In fact, reach out to us as soon as possible, because I promise you that tech issue is not you. It's not your fault. You're not doing something wrong. It's that there's something going on our end that needs to be taken care of. You're not the only person who's going to be experiencing that tech issue. So please, please, please reach out to us. And then also on all of these lists, you'll have the relevant guides or research guides for that subject area. And so you see them listed here, and we're also going to go over those in just a second as well. So I'm going to click us back over to the library's homepage. Next, we have journals by title. I'm going to click on that and open it. So this is essentially just a search feature or tool where you can search for journals by their names or by their subject area. So let's say that your professor gives you a citation and says, I want you to read this article. We'll take the name of the journal out of that citation and plug it in right here. And then you can go through the process of accessing the correct volume and issue number. So then you can get to the full text of the article. Also, if you're not quite sure what you're looking for, but you want to investigate some journals within the field of, say, biology, you can click on the subject there. And then we actually have this really nice visualization of all of the journals that the library has access to regarding biological sciences. So it's nice and pretty, it's very eye-catching, and all of these images are linked. So now, and I apologize because I know I'm going like back and forth, back and forth. There's a lot to cover today, so I'm just trying to be mindful of our time. So that's journals by title. The next thing is research guides by subject. So I'm going to click on that. Now this shows us all of the research guides that the librarians have created and maintain, and they're listed by subject area. And so that means that any major or sometimes other areas like ebooks, we have research guides created about or within those subjects. So if I wanted to go, we're just gonna ride the wave of biology today. So if you remember, I had shown you guys in the databases by title or by subject list, there were the guides for biology. We can see those again listed here. Now, these are really fantastic because let's say I just go to the general biology one. It's almost like a website in itself. And you'll see that all of the information in this guide is pertinent to biology courses, research, and other assignments. As well as things like writing and citing. So when you get ready to write a paper or, create those citations, that information is available there to help you. We have our chat feature come up on every page, except for our home page, I believe. Please note that this is always chatting with a live human being. No AI, no robots, no anything like that. And as long as the library is open, which is 7 days a week, there's always going to be a human being manning that chat. So please don't hesitate to use the chat feature if you think that's something that you need. So I'm not going to go through every single page in this biology guide, but please don't hesitate, just get in there and explore a little bit. You might be surprised at the types of resources that we have listed. You might be surprised that, we have really important or very valuable trainings or tutorials for your subject area. In some subject areas, we have these research guides that are focused specifically on a course. So don't hesitate to check that out. And for all of the students and faculty in the room, in Canvas, in your courses, the relevant or the associated research guide is embedded under the Library Resources tab in your Canvas course menu. So it's automatically there, no work on your part to put it there. For faculty, if you see anything that maybe is missing from your guide, or if you would like to collaborate with your librarian to create a new guide specific to a course, an assignment, a topic, whatever you think, just let us know. We're always happy to work on that project with you. Okay, I'm going to click back one more time. Everybody still doing okay? Hanging with me? I'm going to now focus on these links and other information underneath our main swoop search area. There's always a few links there. Again, it's one of those situations where this is not the only place that these links exist. For instance, you see the library textbooks, the link is directly there. Well, we also have that information and it's directly linked to our banner image up top. So it's always a nice place, to just kind of come and double check. We are experiencing, kind of a greater number this week of students who are having issues accessing resources off campus. So we do have a guide for that. And then of course you can always reach the library directly if you'd like to troubleshoot one-on-one. And then if anybody would like to reserve one of those awesome study rooms that that Robin's library video tour reviewed, then you can use the link right here. Okay, so I've scrolled back up to the top of the library's homepage, and I'm going to focus now on the left-hand menu. Now, a lot of the information that we're going to see in these pages in the left-hand menu is going to be duplicates of what I've already shown you. So forgive me if I go kind of quickly over some of these things, but we have already talked about them. I just like to show that, kind of like getting to the library's website, there's always multiple access points. So whatever you find easier to remember. So first I'm going to go to this Find Borrow Request. And here we just keep tiles on different resources and services to help you find, borrow, or request materials, resources, items, and things like that through or from the library. So you'll see we have Find a Journal. That takes you to the Journals by Title search feature. Databases, which goes to the Databases by Title. Books and More, which is going to take you to Swoop Search, where you can search the catalog. Again, we have the library e-textbooks here. And then we have course reserves. So the video did show and mention that as a faculty member, you can put material on reserve here at the library behind the help desk. If you'd like to kind of browse what we have, or if you're interested in more information on how to do that, this tile is for you. And then we have ScholarWorks, which is the institutional repository here at UT Tyler. So if you have publications or other research that you would like to publish in ScholarWorks, you can find more information about that process and who to contact within this website. Borrow and request. So I know that this is what people traditionally think of when they think of a library. So if you have something checked out or you want to check something out, you can borrow and renew that checkout with this link. You have your account. So everyone has an account who's affiliated with UT Tyler. So here you can see if you have any fines, if you have anything still checked out, maybe you forgot you had, things like that. We do have several copiers and scanners here, as well as printers in the library. The video did show images of those, and so you can find more information, such as, how much it costs to print or to make copies, and, different things like that under this tile. And then request interlibrary loan. So this is a very important service, a very valuable service that we offer here through the library. Essentially, if you need to use a material that our library does not have full text access to, request that item through interlibrary loan. It comes down to filling out a form that takes about 30 seconds. When you complete that form and submit it, our interlibrary loan department will work with a network of libraries and other institutions to get you a free copy or free access to that material. And again, at no cost to you, completely free. So if you'd like more information about interlibrary loan, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. And there's also more details, finer details on the interlibrary loan website. Okay, so back at the top, I'm going to go on the left-hand menu again and click Support and Research Help. So this is where you can get help with library resources, literature searches, citing, and more, okay? And so as we go down the page, we see different ways that you can get help. So first and foremost, in case anybody doesn't know, you have a librarian specific to your major. So I did click on that tile for your librarian. This provides a little bit of information about what we can do if we have a research consultation with you. And then we have a list here of our librarians. So you'll see I'm here, and then Ezzie is right up here. So if we click on that, it will take you directly to the librarian's profile page. You can see their subject specialties, a little bit of information about them, all of the research guides that they own and maintain, and then again, their contact information. So it's it's nice to have all the information in one quick spot for you. Okay, so that's your librarian. I'm gonna go back. Our chat feature and other FAQs are listed here. If you'd like support or more information about creating citations, you can find that here. Again, those research guides by subject, you're going to find that here. And then our tutorials. So our tutorials tile links us to the library's YouTube channel. We do have a pretty big list of different tutorials on various subjects that can be very helpful. Additionally, on the library's YouTube channel, all of our workshop Wednesdays, like this one today, are recorded and published there. So let's say that you find this this workshop very helpful, but then in like 3 weeks, you can't quite remember what I talked about on one page, right? Always double check the library's YouTube channel, and the recording of this workshop will be there. And then for those of you who are actively publishing and doing any scholarly research, we have a librarian, Tara Gullings, for scholarly communication. So that's a very important thing to kind of think about as you progress through your own research, not literature. Again, we do provide research consultations. So those are going to be with your liaison librarian. Open education services, so that's going to be finding resources, maybe course materials, assignments, things like that, that are free and openly available on the internet. If you'd like to know more about open education or open access, then I highly recommend that you speak to our scholarly communications librarian, Tara Gullings. If you don't know where to start with any of that, she can definitely help you, as can your liaison librarian. And then again, we have ScholarWorks at UT Tyler, which is our institutional repository. And then finally down here for teaching and learning, you'll have a great tile here specifically for faculty services. So those are all the things that the library and librarians can do for you as a faculty member. Another tile linked to your liaison librarian, because you can't ever get enough of your liaison librarian. And then finally over here, we have a tile for library instruction. So I mentioned that I am the business librarian. I am also the library instruction coordinator. And that means that, you know, our librarians, we do teach in classes. We don't lead semester courses ourselves. However, numerous faculty invite us to their classes to speak to an individual class, to partner with them on assignments and, you know, tons of different things. If you ever have an idea for something like that, but you're not sure how to approach it, or maybe you have a request for a librarian to come to your class or speak via Zoom or anything like that, this library instruction tile is exactly where you want to go, or please reach out to me directly. And we can definitely have a conversation about that and get it all set up. Okay. Technology and spaces. So, just as you might imagine, this is all about the technology and the spaces within the library, okay? So here we have library spaces, again, much like Robin's library tour video. I don't know why I can't seem to say that today. This is going to take you through specific areas within the library that may be important or intriguing to you, especially in terms of practice presentation rooms, group study rooms, and those individual or private study rooms. We also have, you know, the legalese, right, of the building use policies, you know, and our computer use policies. So I wouldn't stress too much about that. Don't spill soda on the computers, you know, don't run screaming through the building. You know, I mean, it's standard stuff, right? But we have to provide it. And then you'll find more information about printing and scanning. So we do have 3 printers and 2 flatbed scanners in the library. And then more about our computers, software, and of course, Wi-Fi access. So all of the things to help you be successful anytime you're in the library. University archives and special collections. So this is really fantastic, and most people don't think about it when they think about the library. The university has its own archives and special collections, and that is housed on the first floor of the library. The head of archives and special collections is Joy Pitts. She has been with us almost a full year. She's in the room with me right now. I'm not going to get into all the specifics of every single one of these tiles because she can do a much better job, but I do highly recommend stopping by to see Joy or reaching out to her so she can set up a tour. You can even bring your class, or if you are a student, you can bring your classmates, right? Oftentimes the archives and our special collections can be used in tandem with any sort of assignment or research, especially UT Tyler or East Texas related research, which is really exciting. And then also they have fantastic social media presence. So if you're ever interested in kind of knowing a little bit more about what crazy cool things we have in our archives and special collections, check them out on social media. I personally follow them and it's a lot of fun. All right, ScholarWorks at UT Tyler. So I'm going to click on that. So this is our ScholarWorks or institutional repository page or home page. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. It was kind of far away. I'm not going to go too in-depth about this. I do highly recommend that if you'd like to learn more about, publishing or, uploading your information or your research and scholarship into ScholarWorks at UT Tyler, I highly recommend that you reach out to Tara Gullings, who is our scholarly communications librarian. She can walk you through that process and basically give you the whole rundown of what it means to include your information in an institutional repository. You can go through here though and look at theses and dissertations that have been published by UT Tyler students. You can view all of the collections by an academic department. So let's say that you're interested in what your biology faculty are publishing. This is a really great place to kind of get a snapshot of what their interests are right now. And then you can see journals. We have another link to the University Archives and Special Collections. Student scholarship. So outside of these theses and dissertations are students who have done really fantastic projects and research in the past. And then the selected works gallery and the expert gallery, that's really interesting. It gives you kind of individual profiles on particular researchers that are accessible through our institutional repository. Sorry, haven't had enough coffee today. And this is also a really, really fun, what's called discipline wheel. It's a nice data visualization tool. You can actually go through and it's interactive. So you can see if I click on this giant purple thing, right? So we see here, this is everything that is housed within our university institutional repository. So we see this largest collection here is, medicine and health sciences. And then if we want to get more specific, we can hover here, and our biggest collection within that field is nursing. And then even within nursing, we have nursing administration, public health and community nursing, family practice nursing, and so on and so on. And so we have that for every single one of our kind of discipline fields all across the university. So you can kind of see which departments or schools or colleges are including their information in ScholarWorks at UT Tyler. And then by clicking on each one of these, you can actually go and see a nice list and access these in full text. So ScholarWorks is really interesting. I could fall down that rabbit hole any day, but that's not what today's about. So I'm going to go ahead and take us back to the university's website. Sorry. I'm going to do this. There we go. So I took us back to the home page. Sorry about all the extra clicks. You don't have to remember any of that. The final thing that the final page we're gonna go over today is just our about page. It's a standard about page, nothing too surprising here. You'll find information about the library itself, such as our hours, our collection policy, again, kind of legalese in a way, but it's really important when you need it. Visitor information. So let's say you're interested in visiting for the first time, you want to know more information, that's a really great place to visit. And then we have our missions and policy as well as our staff directory. So if you're looking to get in touch with someone specific or within a particular department, that staff directory can be very helpful. Then, of course, those policies that I was telling you about, and we also have a nice tile and more information about our accessibility services and resources right here. And then all the ways that you can connect with us. So things like social media, we have that down here. We have our YouTube channel again. I highly recommend that if you have a YouTube profile, just go ahead and follow the Robert R. Muntz Library YouTube channel. We do produce quite a bit of great resources, like I said, workshop recordings and tutorials and things like that. News and events about the library, things that are upcoming, you can access here. And then if you feel strongly and you would like to give a donation to the library, you can always do that. We're very happy to hear that. And you can use this tile right here. Standard disclaimer though, I'm not soliciting, soliciting money or any sort of donations from this workshop. I do just like to point that out because a lot of people don't realize that they can do that. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the library's homepage one more time. And then finally over here in this left-hand menu, it's kind of all of our same basic information that we've already talked about. Ways to contact us. So we have the official address. We have the library's phone number right here. We have our email just below that, library@uttyler.edu. You can follow us on social media again. @Muntz Library is our handle. And then you can also just Google @Muntz Library. And then we have our hours down here. And I always like to point out we are open 7 days a week. We're one of the very few buildings on campus that is open 7 days a week. Most nights, especially these standard weeknights, we're open until 2 a.m. Someone is always going to be staffing the building during that time. But if you decide to come to the library and access the building after 10 p.m., make sure that you have your Patriots ID card because we do lock the doors. People can still access it and everything like that, but just for security's sake, that 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. time period. And during that time, campus security does walk the building every hour just to make sure everybody's hanging in there. All right. So thank you for hanging in there with me. I know it's been a lot of information on the library's website and just the library building in general. I do hope that, you learned something new today, or maybe found, information about something that you didn't quite know how to access, things like that. At this point, I am going to stop sharing my screen. And I am going to see if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, or recipes. I like recipes.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So, the University Archives and Special Collections unit on the Institutional Repository ScholarWorks.
Mhm.
What's housed in that? What is?
Let's go find out.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to repeat the question for everybody on Zoom. Joy asked the page the ScholarWorks at UT Tyler page. She wants to know what it does whenever we click on the Archives and Special Collections tile. So here we are. I'm going to click on that. And it takes us to, this is the ScholarWorks at UT Tyler page for things in our Archives and Special Collections.
Yeah, so it's got, if you scroll down.
Oh, yep.
By collection, and you've got all sorts of stuff on there that you can access digitally. So
yeah, absolutely. So for people on Zoom, Joy pointed out that down here on this page within ScholarWorks, you can see several of the collections within our archives, and you can access those digitally, which is pretty cool. The UT Tyler photograph collection is a lot of fun. If you guys ever have some time, you just want to kind of like play around. It's interesting.
I do have more comments.
Yeah,
Which I guess I can hop in there.
sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna pass the buck for a minute.
I just wanted to, so short. Hello, everyone. The only exception that I really wanted to point out is if you are a student with the College of Pharmacy, this is a chat question that I've seen a lot. When you are looking for your ebooks or your databases, you need to do that through your pharmacy guide. If you go to the regular database page, you're not going to find what you need. Your books are also not on the general ebook page. So that's pretty much the exception to to the access. That's all I can think of. Do we have any other questions? We'll look at the chat just for fun. Nope, I think we got it.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Hermans, for your comments. We really appreciate it. Okay, so thank you all very much. Sarah and Ezzie. we are going to close out. And again, I just want to remind everybody that this has been recorded, and after some editing, we're going to upload it onto the YouTube channel. So feel free to share if you think anybody else, students or otherwise, would benefit from this workshop. Y'all have a wonderful day.